She wrote letters to a stranger every night, until one wrote back, sound, soft rain tapping on a window, distant thunder, faint ticking of a clock. Narrator. At midnight, when the world surrendered to silence and shadows crept along the walls, Elara would sit at her desk. A single candle flickered beside her, casting long trembling shapes across the floor. Her pen scratched against paper, filling empty pages with words no one was supposed to read. Every night, for 5 long years, she wrote letters. Letters to a stranger she had never met. A stranger she believed might understand her heart better than anyone else could. Sound, pen scratching, soft sighs, rain intensifies. She wrote about her days, her fears, and the hollow ache of a life that felt incomplete. But above all, she wrote about love. Not the fleeting kind, but the kind that refuses to fade, that lingers in the air long after someone is gone. No one understood why she wrote. Her neighbors whispered about the lonely woman in the old house at the edge of town. But what they didn't know was that each letter was meant for Aiden. 5 years ago, he had died. Sound, distant crash of thunder, faint echo of a man's laughter. Narrator. Aiden had been the only person who truly understood her. A writer like her, a dreamer like her. They met in a coffee shop, one rainy evening. 2 strangers hiding behind books, finding comfort in the quiet presence of someone who knew the value of words. They didn't need to speak much. Their letters and shared silences said everything. But life, as it often does, was cruel. A car accident stole him away in an instant, leaving her alone with memories and the sound of her own heartbeat in an empty room. That's when the letters began. Every night she poured her soul onto paper, placing each one carefully into a wooden box she kept beside her bed. A box carved with his initials. A. W. Sound. Folding paper. Candle flicker. Distant wind. Narrator. She never intended anyone to read them. Not really. They were a lifeline, a way to survive, a way to feel him still. And yet, something was about to change. One stormy night, the rain heavier than she had ever heard, Elara wrote a letter she almost didn't finish. It's been 5 years, Aiden. Do you remember me? Can you still hear me somewhere? Tears fell on the paper, smudging the ink. She folded the letter, placed it in the box, and blew out the candle. Sound, candle snuff, deep silence. The room fell into darkness, and then she heard it. A knock. Sound. Soft knock. 3 times. Then pause. Then louder knock. Her heart raced. No one ever came here at this hour. She opened the door slowly. No one. But on the doorstep lay an envelope. Old, damp, yellowed with age, sealed with red wax. And her initials were written across it in ink she hadn't seen in years. E.M. Sound. Heartbeat. Rain pounding harder. Elara's hands trembled as she picked it up. The handwriting, unmistakable. His. I never stopped reading your letters. The candle flickered back to life on its own. The room grew colder, and the faint whisper of a voice drifted through the air. Elara. Her breath caught. She whispered, Aiden? I'm here. For the first time in 5 years, she smiled. She was not alone. Sound, soft piano, rain easing, wind through trees. Narrator. The letters began to come after that, not all at once, not in a flood, but like delicate echoes of a world just beyond her own. Some mornings, she would wake to find them resting beside her bed. Others, tucked into her coat pocket, as if someone had followed her into the night and left them silently. They were filled with fragments of memories she thought only she remembered. He wrote of days she couldn't recall, of moments she hadn't known mattered, of dreams that existed in a place where life and death intertwined. Sound, paper, rustling, candle flicker, and with each letter, she felt him closer, not in body, but in spirit. Narrator. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and the line between reality and the supernatural blurred. She began to hear him, faintly at first, calling her name when she walked through empty hallways. Sometimes, a cold breeze would brush her cheek, and she could swear it was his touch. Sound, faint footsteps, whispering wind. She spoke to him, reading her letters aloud at night, and somehow the words were answered. Conversations unfolded between life and death, letters and whispers, until her world was once again filled with his presence. Sound, distant chimes, rain softening, candle steady. Narrator. But there was a mystery in the letters. Aiden wrote of places she had never been, and events she couldn't recall. Occasionally, his words hinted at knowledge of the future. Warnings, fragments of insight that could not exist unless he had transcended time itself. She realized then that this was more than love. It was a connection between two souls, one still in the world of the living, the other walking in shadows beyond it. And though she couldn't see him, she could feel him. Sound, wind through trees, soft sigh, heartbeat. Narrator. One night she wrote to him about her fears. I don't know how long this will last. How long can we exist like this, between worlds? The reply came hours later, written in his familiar hand. As long as you believe, as long as your heart remembers. Elara realized then that the letters themselves had become a bridge, a lifeline between two realities. The rain outside, the wind, the silence, all became part of a delicate conversation she could never have imagined before. Sound, gentle rain, distant thunder, piano soft. Narrator. Months passed. She no longer felt lonely. She no longer feared the nights. Every letter, every whisper, every chill of wind reminded her that love could defy the impossible. One evening, as twilight descended, she read his words aloud. Meet me where we first met. Midnight, no one else will see. She hesitated, heart racing. Could it be real? Could a ghost truly wait in the coffee shop, where they had first found each other, years ago? Sound, footsteps, creaking door, rain softening. She walked there, envelope in hand. The place was empty, except for the faint aroma of coffee and paper. And there, in the flickering glow of the street lamp, she saw him, not fully corporeal, not a living man, but translucent, glowing faintly in the twilight. His eyes met hers, and in them, she saw all the love, all the longing, all the life they had shared. Sound, soft, ethereal music, wind whispers, Elara. Narrator. He smiled, and she could feel his voice in her mind. I told you. I never stopped reading your letters. Tears ran down her cheeks. She wanted to reach him, to touch him, to hold him. Her fingers passed through light, and yet it did not matter, because in that moment, she understood something she had always known, deep in her soul. Love is not bound by life or death. Sound, soft piano, wind, faint heartbeat. He spoke again. I am here, always, in the letters, in the rain, in the spaces between heartbeats. Believe in us, Elara, always. And then, as the first rays of dawn broke through the clouds, he faded, not gone, but present, in a world she could no longer see, yet could feel. Sound, sunrise wind, birds, faint echo of his whisper, always. Narrator. Elara returned home, hands trembling, heart full. She opened the wooden box, not to place another letter inside, but to read the ones she had already written, because now she knew he was listening. He had always been listening, and perhaps one day they would meet again, somewhere between the worlds. Sound, candle flicker, paper turning, soft rain. She smiled. "I'll keep writing," she whispered, "until you answer again." And somewhere, just beyond the veil of shadows, he did. Sound, faint whisper, echoing, always. Narrator, soft, closing tone. Love does not end. Not in death, not in silence, not in absence. Sometimes it lives in letters written at midnight, in whispers carried by the wind, in hearts brave enough to keep believing.